Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at an article from the Chicago Tribune that appears was originally posted or at the same time was posted in the Washington Post. It's written by Steven Zaitchik, or Zaitchik. I hope I'm close with that. But anyway, the title here goes to show how the left has become the moral arbiters of what is socially acceptable, what isn't socially acceptable, what is morally right, what is morally wrong, what you can do, what you can't do, this, that, and the other thing. Does Netflix have a killer problem? See, instead of just, allowing people to consume whatever the hell content they want, because it's on Netflix, people don't have to watch it. They choose to. Yet, Netflix has a killer problem. Oh no. I mean, this is ridiculous. This truly is. Who the hell are they to say what Netflix's problems are? If people are consuming the content, let it be. They should be the ones that ultimately choose whether or not they're going to consume it. It really is that simple. There's the show in which protagonist... Wow. There's the show in which the protagonist throws a rock at the head of a young woman, follows her to a beach house, and shoots her dead. The true story about the brutal sexual assault and murder of a woman in Wisconsin. The recordings of the notorious 1970s man who confessed to killing dozens of women, sometimes having sex with their decomposing corpses. The reason why I hesitated at the beginning of this is it brought me back to when I first read this, and I was like, wow, this is just sensationalism at its worst. This is them literally trying to paint a picture, to set things up, to make it look like Netflix is doing things that they shouldn't be doing, and the left, being the moral arbiters, should be calling them out for it. It's hilarious. The group isn't a listing of cult exploitation videos. It is a much more mainstream collection. You Making a Murderer and Conversations with a Killer, the Ted Bundy tapes, a sample of recent hits on Netflix. So, wait a minute. You don't think that what they didn't, draw interest into people trying to find out more about it? Oh, no. We can't have them learning about these serial killers. We can't have them learning about these people because, oh no, it's morally reprehensible. Give me a break. I mean, this is just literally setting up an attack on Netflix is what I see it as. It's like maybe Netflix didn't, cuck to the SJWs enough with what they've been doing with their programming, so they're going to go after them on other programming. I mean, hell, you got that Fat Miss Piggy live action wannabe bitch. Oh God, Crowder the other day covered her special. Oh God, Amy Schumer. All right, they gave her to you guys. Leave everything else alone. I don't hear you bitching about her vile, disgusting, rants about how stanky her vagina is. I mean, I find that to be, something I don't want to watch, and I don't watch it. But you ain't bitching about her talking about how bad her freaking pussy stinks now, do you? Oh, God. As the streaming giant has continued to shower billions of dollars on programming and marketing, it has become one of the most powerful forces in entertainment, putting both Silicon Valley and Hollywood on the defensive. The service has done this in part with the help of delicate dramas such as the recent Spanish-language black and white film Roma, which won 3 Oscars last month. See, what they want is they want this art house fucking bullshit to be like all of Netflix. Fuck everybody else. You can't have that. We think this is acceptable. This 3 Oscar-winning movie that, personally, I was like, yeah, whatever. This is just going to be like, the elite types, those wannabes like Hollywood, that it would show that with the giving the Oscars to it. But it was going to be that type of film, an art house film. But see, most people don't want art house crap. They want mainstream stuff. And if you look at like Investigation Discovery ID, This is the type of shit that they do. You know, you're not complaining about them talking about this type of stuff and having shows on things like this. This is targeting specifically Netflix for some reason. And the other one's doing it on cable television. Yet Netflix is also quietly capitalizing on another form of content. More than other entertainment outlets, a number of Netflix hit shows spotlight gruesome violence, often committed against women, according to viewership statistics and industry experts. And Netflix is both more popular, some 60 million US subscribers, and more intensely watched in all rooms of the house, often multiple episodes at a time, than traditional television, raising worries among some media violence experts. Raising it with feminazis and the soy boy cucks that are just rapists that haven't been caught yet or are going to end up being eventual rapists. I mean, because if you look, the male allies tend to turn out to be really sketchy, skeevy, rapey types more often than not. And what gets me is here with this whole thing, they're quietly capitalizing. They're giving content that people want to watch. They're not capitalizing on it. They're filling a demand for it. And this idea of often committed against women. Where's your proof? You just say, oh, these supposed experts said it, so you must believe it. Fuck off. I'm concerned about the trajectory we're on, said Glenn Sparks, professor at Purdue University, who has studied the effects of media violence and is one of a number of critics who has come not from the more traditional ranks of conservative family groups, but are instead academics, journalists, and mental health experts. Leftists! Because you know what? The supposed conservatives that you're talking about were like ones that even your average Republican went back in the day, like in the 90s and shit went, I think you're going a little too far there. I don't think doom is causing kids to go out and want to shoot people. I don't think Quake is causing that. They were like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. It was how do I put this? It was basically stay-at-home moms that had no lives and nothing to do that were busybodies. Now, it's all these people in academia that are getting paid too late, and journalists and these supposed mental health experts, that are like trying to regulate morality. Basically, people on the left in these, what they perceive as better than you positions, because journalists, they see themselves as the fourth estate. Academics, well, I'm a professor. I'm better than you. I know better. And these mental health experts, what? Are these the type of mental health experts that are going, oh, there's 72 genders and, oh, well, they're pushing feminist bullshit about, toxic masculinity and shit like that. Well, I would put money. They are busybodies who are trying to tell you what you can and cannot watch. If I worked at Netflix, I might say, well, this is what people want. But that doesn't mean it should be provided, he said. The research shows that escalating violence on screen can make us more tolerant of it in real life. It can leave lingering fear that can cause sleep disturbances and other problems. Bullshit, 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 bullshit. There have been study after study after study showing that this does not really desensitize people. That it really does not turn them out to be people who are going to go and commit these things. Why is this supposed, I don't want to say, I don't know if he's a professor, but he's probably a supposed mental health expert saying this shit. This is the same type of crap that they tried to claim in the 90s. And what sleep disturbances? How the hell is that going to cause it? If the shit's going to cause you to have nightmares, if you're watching it, you're going to know that it might and stop watching it. You're not going to continue watching it unless you're a glutton for fucking punishment. There is, he added, an issue of social responsibility here. What social responsibility? If the people want it, they're paying for a service, a private service. if they provide the content on that service that people want, that doesn't break any laws, that doesn't do anything illegal, there is no social responsibility here. They do not have a social responsibility to do what you want them to do. You Purdue piece of shit. Netflix closely guards its viewership data, so it is hard to make direct comparisons to broadcast and cable networks, which allows themselves to be rated. And Netflix is, of course, by no means the first content company to offer gore on the small screen. HBO has True Detective and Game of Thrones. Showtime had Dexter. And CBS has long tested the limits of blood appetites on procedurals like CSI, to name a few examples. Yes! But Netflix is different. And I love how they throw in, well, they allow themselves to be rated. No, it's not that they allow themselves to be rated. They have to be rated. By law. They are television. Netflix is not television. Federal law, they kind of agreed to it, but it's basically worked out. Federal law with the broadcast, what was it, TV 14 and shit like that. That came out from federal law that they agreed to, that they worked out a deal on. They didn't have a choice. They either worked with them or they were going to get fucked even harder. And Netflix shouldn't have to be rated, but they're going to, that's kind of like what they're kind of hinting at. Well, Netflix doesn't have that same thing going against them, to make sure that they stay within what's socially acceptable. Freaking Puritans on the left, they disgust me. They truly do. But in the data Netflix does release, there are strong hints of disproportionate role of violence in its top offerings. Note, the story ahead contains some plot spoilers of previously released Netflix shows and movies. Please read this with mine. Now, watch. We're going to see, there's shows that are popular. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to see, Marvel, those type of things. Because I read through part of this and I said, oh, I'm going to just start making the video. Because just up to where I got there, I was like, yeah, I need to make a video on this. So, in all honesty, usually I read through. And I make my points, get my points straight in my head. But this one, I just wanted to shoot from the hip from. Because it's one of those ones that I was like, you moral superior wannabe assholes. No, this has got to be called out. And so, here I am. Netflix recently revealed its most binge shows in 2018. The shows people spend the most time watching in a single sitting. Of the top 3 last year, 2 centered on death or violence, Making a Murderer and 13 Reasons Why, the later a scripted drama focusing on the suicide of a teenage girl. Netflix provided the 8 most binge of its original productions in 2018. Half of them contained a significant degree of violence or morbid themes. Are you the ones deciding what these morbid themes are? What one person considers morbid, another one won't, per se, necessarily. And this idea of Making a Murder, it's a documentary. 13 Reasons Why was one of those thriller type shows. The suicide happened and it was focusing on what happened as a result of it and her note and shit like that. Oh my God. Then there's Newcomer You, about a creepy stalker, which the company touted on a recent earnings call has been viewed by at least 40 million households. And one of the most watched Netflix movie ever, Bird Box, released in December, is a dark exercise in which victims are moved to commit suicide after encountering a lethal supernatural being. The film was viewed by 80 million accounts in its first month of availability, Netflix executives said. Now, on top of this, these are global numbers, and they're trying to portray this like this is just the U.S. These are their global numbers, because a lot of these shows, You and Bird Box, these Netflix originals, they get shown to everyone. Asked about both the trend and the criticism of it, a Netflix spokesperson said, "There's a huge choice on Netflix: dramas, romantic comedies, cooking shows, mysteries, documentaries, stand-up comedy specials, and a whole lot more. Focusing on one genre to the exclusion of all these others simply doesn't reflect the programming we offer." Yes, exactly. But see, they don't care about that. They only want to focus on this stuff to go after Netflix on it. Because the left you know, it isn't bad enough that they've weaseled their way in, they've slimed their way in like they have. They want more. They want more control. They want more power over them. And this is an attempt to do that. But the company has also boasted of the popularity of programming with these themes. In its earnings call in January, Chief Content Officer Ted Sardanos told analysts that one thing this quarter that has been incredibly exciting is when you see a big number like Bird Box and You. He said the two content offerings tap into the global zeitgeist. People want to watch it. By saying the global zeitgeist, it's relevant to what people want to watch on the note of the type of content they're interested in. Heaven forbid people get to watch what they want to watch. Grown adults, mind you. Heaven friggin' forbid. While there's plenty of violence to be found elsewhere, other networks don't dwell on these subjects as often. Of the 15 most watched series on HBO in 2018, only 3 might have been regarded as centering on hard-edged violence. Okay, but let's look at what Netflix offers for content and what HBO offers for content. Netflix offers more content, period, than HBO. End of story. So, of course, they can proportionately have more shows that you moral busybodies don't like. The moral left. You people have no morals. Your morals are fluid, like the 72 genders you believe exist. You're the last people to be talking about morality and trying to push your morality, which you don't even follow because it's, you know, what you say is morally right. You don't follow because you're fluid with your morality. You expect others to follow it, though. You people are pathetic. And no broadcast network in 2017 or to 2018 had more than one show in its top 5 that primarily trafficked in violence, even of the more benign broadcast network kind. The top scripted series in the biggest networks in 2017 to 2018 in the adult 18 to 49 demographic, NBC's This Is Us, CBS's The Big Bang Theory, and ABC's Roseanne, all preoccupied with other themes. So what? Who cares? Obviously you do, but no one else does. But you want to say, well, look at this. They're not showing violent stuff. You want to bring things back to this twisted, identity politics-based 1950s type of morality bullshit. And you know what? You can get bent on that stuff. Seriously. If an adult wants to watch a program where no children, animals are hurt or anything's illegally done to them or anything illegal is done in general, okay, that's their prerogative. Who are you to say what they can and can't watch? People who study violence on entertainment platforms say the intensity of the fare on Netflix can also be greater than on competitors. You follows the main character as he takes a mallet to a young male victim, locks him in a plexiglass cage, and poisons him. Conversations with a Killer has the faces of tortured murder victims flashing across the screen as Bundy explains why someone might commit the horrific crimes. So, you have Bundy talking about why he killed these people, and you're showing who these people were, which is historically significant, you shitbags. And you have a problem with that. Sorry that you have an issue with how that information is being presented, but it's historically significant. Because Ted Bundy was one of those type of serial killers that was historically significant. You, who gives a shit? It's a fictional friggin' story. You can go and watch movies with that type of shit going on. Hell, what are you going to come out against the Boondock Saints because it's on there? I noticed you didn't mention the Boondock Saints. You got them literally shooting the shit out of people with blood splattering everywhere. Just going on killing sprees. You know, of evil people. I don't hear you bitch. I don't see you bitching about them. Oh, wait, we haven't finished the article yet. Maybe you do. Because it's on there. Other TV shows will certainly spotlight a corpse or murder, but stalkers and serial killers are far less often the show's central protagonist. Even Game of Thrones, possibly the most violent content not on Netflix, is frequently focused on power and palace intrigue, with violence excuse me, with violence more the dependable tool to acquire it. Who gives a shit? You're comparing documentaries with fiction. Non-fiction, fiction. That happened in the real world. This didn't. And even on the note of the fiction stuff on Netflix that you're bitching about, again, it's fiction. Fake. People know it's fake. It does not desensitize them. Fucking moral freaking busybody, arbiters of morality, shitbags. I think the decision to show more sensationalist programs is driven by the same thing that makes Netflix give us so little control to stop the next episode, said Wendy Wood, a professor of psychology and business at the University of Southern California, alluding to the so-called autoplay feature in which a new episode begins automatically. That's something a success to Netflix. Oh, how the hell is that a success? You pay a set monthly fee. All right? It's not like the next episode they're making any money off of you per episode. That next episode thing, you dumb bitch, is done out of convenience. I like that because when I go and watch a TV series, I tend to binge it. And I'm going to watch, 2, 3, maybe more episodes. Like if I'm in front of the computer doing some work, I might have, a Star Trek series on, or, the new Voltron animation that they animated series that they've got. I might have, like when they had the series Life. Oh God, I can't think of his name. He was going to be the Ginger Bond, but it was a show that he was doing that got screwed over by the writer's strike, and that it with its first season, and it never picked up steam after the second one. When they had Life on there, I would binge that all the time. There are a lot of other shows that I binge on there. I like that fact that I don't have to constantly go and click on the next freaking episode. It's a feature, one that people like. And this idea of more sensationalist programs. They're giving what the people want. And you're calling it sensationalist. The people want those shows. Okay? Investigation Discovery. They call it, South Park did an episode on it, and they were calling it murder porn. People want to watch this shit. Deal with it. They want to watch stuff like The Punisher or Daredevil with the violence it has, or the Marvel series. They want to watch that type of stuff. There's a market for it. Netflix is just filling that market need. Robert Thompson, a professor of media and culture at Syracuse University, says the reason for this focus may have to do with the fact that viewers often watch Netflix in more private ways and settings than they do traditional television. They can help the service achieve for shows about They can help the service achieve for shows about killers what ebook readers did for 50 Shades of Grey. Plain brown packaging by the way of a company of the red envelope. And excuse me? How the No. That's complete horseshit. You watch television in the privacy of your own home. You're going to watch Netflix in the privacy of your own home. Hell, people watch Netflix on their phones in public. They watch it on their tablets in public. They watch it on their computers in public, like their laptops. So to try to claim that is complete horseshit. People will watch that type of stuff on their phones, say with their morning commute. They're on a train. Oh, well, I'm on a train. I got to occupy myself somehow. They're going to watch Netflix. How the hell does this even hold any water when that's the truth? And you could order 50 Shades of Grey when it came out online. Oh my God. In other words, he said, violence fits the delivery vehicle. No, it doesn't, because people watch Netflix in public more so than they would television.
You literally got things ass backwards. People watch TV in the privacy of their own home because they're not carrying their TV with them, really. Well, they are now because of things like Google doing their TV bullshit, and you can log in on your phone to your cable provider and watch TV online. But more people are watching Netflix and stuff online. They're doing it while they're on the train. They're doing it while they're traveling. They're doing it in public. So your idea of it fits a delivery vehicle is said by someone who's completely fucking clueless. If you look at television history, there's often a mirror effect, Thompson said. In the early days of TV, in the days of I Love Lucy and Leave It to Beaver, families would gather in the living rooms to watch shows about people who gather in their living rooms. And now we're people who sit around huddled alone, looking a little creepy, watching people who are huddled alone, looking a little creepy. Not exactly true, but whatever. It's your interpretation of creepy, and I love how he chooses this idea of creepy because of the murder porn. Oh no, the murder porn on Netflix. Oh no. Grisly content also can fit with the type of narrow but deep engagement Netflix seeks. The service's model is based on small pockets of high interest than the broad viewership ambitions of many competitors. Bullshit. Marvel is a mass appeal brand. It's not just comic book geeks anymore. You think that they chose to to team up with Marvel to do the series that they did, looking for niche audiences? Bullshit. You think when they've got the Marvel Cinematic Universe on Netflix, I gotta scratch my throat here, but you think when they were doing the cinematic universe that they're looking for a niche audience when they've got, say, Ragnarok, throw Ragnarok on there? Fuck no. We're just talking Marvel alone there. Then you've got other mainstream brand, movies that are high demand that have hit Netflix. You have content that appeals to the masses. You've got TV series that appeal to the masses. Yet they're trying to go, oh, they're like niche audience. No, that's not how it works. They're not going for little small audiences. They like mainstream ones too. What's more, some note that the company's algorithms tend to encourage consumption and production of what's already succeeding, amplifying the trend. No! If you watch a bunch of particular types of series, like say, I watch, a bunch of history stuff on there. So it shows me more history stuff. It's catering to what my wants are on the type of content I'll consume, what I like. You want to literally stop that. You want it to stop recognizing what people like and giving them the content that they like. Wow. That is some screwed up, twisted shit. Because Netflix bases so much on technology. When something works, you're going to have a lot of different versions of the same thing. I think that's what's happening with this kind of violent content, said Gina Keating, the author of Netflix, The Epic Battle for America's Eyeballs. I would call it a virtuous circle, except it's not virtuous. No, you think you're virtuous trying to tell people what the hell they should and shouldn't watch. This is ridiculous. The service's interest in violence began early. Netflix's first original scripted series was House of Cards, with its linchpin moment, Frank pushing Zoe in front of a train. Shortly after came Hemlock Grove, which opens with two teenage girls violently murdered. Oh no! You take one incident from House of Cards. I don't know, one incident from another show. Give me a break. They're not centered around like that being like the whole focus of the show. Soon these themes had spread to other narrative forms, culminating in recent months with the raw recordings of Conversations and the plot lines of You, whose first season Netflix recently acquired from Lifetime as part of a deal which will also finance a second season. So this was made by Lifetime. This would have been put on the Lifetime network. Holy shit. And you're bitching about Netflix? This is being made by Lifetime. One of the famous ones for murder porn where they go after women. And it's a woman's network. Making a Murderer was a landmark event for Netflix when it came online in late 2015, with its story of a man accused of murder and sexual assault. It would soon spawn both a second season and other true crime series such as Evil Geniuses and The Innocent Man. Last week, the company released its latest entry into the category, The Disappearance of Madeleine McCann, a story of a young British girl who went missing while on a vacation with her parents in Portugal. The series has received negative reviews. The Guardian called it morally and creatively bankrupt and a blatant cash-in on the vogue for true crime series that have become a staple on Netflix's outputs and success of Making a Murderer. Investigation Discovery is a whole fucking network based on murder porn. Shut the fuck up. You ain't bitching about them. They're a whole network based on this shit. The boom is presaged by both HBO's The Jinx and such true crime podcasts as Serial, though the latter form is moderated by its lack of images. Oh yeah, heaven forbid. And even before the recent Velvet Buzzsaw, a dark horror comedy that featured admirers of art gorily hanged and burned, and Polar, a hitman thriller with multiple gruesome murders, Netflix was debuting films like The Babysitter and Clinical, which featured plenty of explicit violence. It is worth noting that the tone and quality of all this content can vary wildly. Some pieces have drawn high acclaim, while others have been pilloried. Yeah. So there's good content there. People like it. They're fulfilling a need. This is commerce. This is capitalism. You don't like it. Don't care. Stop being moral busybodies. Some experts say they have particular concerns about portrayal of violence against women. Of course they would, because they're third or fourth wave feminazi psycho bitches, or they're soy boy cucks who claim to be feminist allies, but, you know, just want to sniff their panties and rub one out because they're never going to be able to sleep with them. Basically. There are many studies that show that the rape myth acceptance scale, basically how much male viewers accept a rape myth, goes up with increased exposure to this kind of content. Sparks said, the idea, for example, that women might be asking for sexual assaults or might enjoy them, those are clearly myths. But consistent exposure to violence like this is shown to make more males conclude they're true. Oh, bullshit. 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 That is a complete and total lie. There is rape porn out there, and most of that rape porn, you dumb bitch, which is women being raped in the rape porn, or simulated rape, you know, acting it out, is catering to women. You do realize that women are the primary consumer of that type of porn. So why are you trying to say that this is going to push this shit with men? It's complete horse shit. Where's your proof? What studies? I love how they just go studies and they leave it alone. This is complete horse shit. On top of this, women are the primary fucking consumers of murder porn, of this investigative discovery, making of a murderer type shit. ID is marketed and targeted towards women. Holy shit. The programming's potential effect on suicide has also come under scrutiny with the popularity of 13 Reasons Why. Oh my god, oh no. Someone might watch this show about a fictional girl who killed herself and left a suicide note, and the effects of the suicide note on those people. Give me a break. In a large joint study after the show's debut in 2017, researchers at a number of institutions, including the University of California, San Diego School of Medicine, and the University of Washington, found that Google's queries about suicide had gone up 19% in the 3 weeks after the show became available. That doesn't mean shit. That doesn't mean that there was an increase in people wanting to kill themselves. It doesn't mean anything like that. Yet, you're trying to imply it. Both the statistics and anecdotes support the idea that the show is glamorizing suicide, experts said. No, it doesn't. What statistics? The fact that you had people go and search about suicide? Are you fucking kidding me? And the anecdotes. What anecdotes? Anecdotes do not show or support shit. That's like the idea of, well, because I've seen this, that means everything else is untrue. That's what you're saying. On the note of, because I saw this, it's true, is what you're doing. But yeah, people get the idea here. I had a dad call me because he found his 15-year-old in her bathtub dressed like Hannah, who had cut herself like Hannah, said Dan Riedenberg, a psychologist who runs Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, a Minnesota-based mental health organization, referring to the show's main character. The research bears out. The way the show presents the content had real impact. Excuse me, this is anecdotal. It's not proof of fucking shit. Okay? Maybe she just wanted to reenact it. Maybe she wasn't suicidal and that was the case. If she was suicidal, shit, maybe you should shut the fuck up about this and maybe help the kid. Because it wasn't the fact of the show that caused her to do it if she was suicidal. She was already that before the show. Reidenberg, who works with Hollywood on depiction of mental health, was called by Netflix to watch 13 Reasons Why and offers executives' thoughts after the first season was shot. He said the company did listen and hear feedback, but didn't, in his view, change the season much as a result. Well, of course not. They're not going to change it after the fact. They brought you in for input on it. They figured, well, you didn't really say too much shit. They thought you were crazy on other notes and said, fuck it, we're going to put it out there. You just don't like that. Content providers say that violent entertainment is simply built into the American consumer experience. It is less a matter of a company creating a desire than meeting one that is already there. Exactly. There's already a desire for this content. People want it. They're going to provide it. Deal with it. It is a company run by adults making content for adults. Adults should have the choice to decide what they do and do not consume, whether it is in print, whether it is in video form, whatever the case may be, audio, whatever. They should have the final say and choice. You should not, you leftist shitbag morons. But you don't care because you want what you want because you think that you know better than everyone else because you're morally superior. Get bent. The point does not persuade USC's Wood, who said that even though many people choose to watch this content, she didn't believe that absolved Netflix of responsibility. Yes, it does. They are producing content for adults that is being watched by adults. If someone who is underage, under the age of 18 watches something, that is ultimately the responsibility of their parent. That is not the responsibility of Netflix. What people consume as adults is their own responsibility. It is not the responsibility of Netflix. Who are you to say it's their responsibility to decide what I do and do not watch? You can go and get bent, you dumb bitch. Seriously. It absolves them of it. Adults have the ultimate say of what they consume. Not you, not Netflix. The fact that we don't have control, not only over what's made, but how it is viewed. That's so much of the so-called personalization is decided on by Netflix with its algorithms, makes them responsible. She said, no, that makes absolutely no sense. They are a private company. They decide what they make. We do not have any input or say. Or when you say we, you mean you, but that's beside the point. Well, actually, no, that is the point. You're saying we on the note of you because you don't like it because you don't have any say in what they produce. Well, guess what? They're a private company. Fuck off. All right? And this idea of so-called personalization is decided with the Netflix algorithms. The fact that you watch content, that you go through and look at what they have and decide to watch different things is what decides that. It isn't their algorithm. You decide that. Meaning it falls on you personally as a consumer of the content. There is little sign Netflix will turn away from the category. In addition to the investment in you, it is firmly in the Bundy business. It recently acquired the scripted Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile, starring the teen-friendly star Zac Efron. Fans have already buzzed online. Of course, a lot of this is going to be popular, Sparks said, but just because people don't like it doesn't mean Netflix always has to foster the appetite. McDonald's used to make French fries with beef tallow because it tasted good. That didn't mean that they should continue serving it. Excuse me? Again, going back to moral arbiters, but on this time on the note of health. You do realize that beef tallow is actually healthier than their vegetable shortening in a lot of instances, right? Beef tallow, beef fat is better than processed vegetable shit. It's less processed. Your body can actually consume it. And you're not bitching about the fact that they're adding tallow to flavor the fries to give them that beefy flavor. They're adding it to the fries still, but let's leave that out. I mean, Jesus Christ, you are actually using the argument of French fries, which people wish that they did have their French fries still fried in beef tallow, because the tallow that they add as a coating to the fries for when they get fried is not the same. Look at these moral arbiters. Whoa, you shouldn't be eating this. You shouldn't be watching this. You shouldn't be consuming this, that, or the other thing, regardless if it's, video, content, whether it's food, whatever. They don't care what you think, that you're your own agent. They don't want that. They want to control every little friggin' aspect of your life. That is the point of this. It's ridiculous. It's sad. It's pathetic. The left has become the moral arbiters, and they need to just shut the fuck up and let people do what they want, because the left used to be about that. Anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm just going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.